大家好，我姓龚，叫龚立茶，金慧。我想关于学习外语发音说话。Hello everyone, I'm Richard Gong of Work to Live podcast version, and as always, reading Chinese is really difficult for me. But this time I'd like at first of all, what I spoke out is hello everyone. My family name is Gong, and my whole name is Richard Gong. And this time I'd like to I'd like to speak out a story about studying pronunciations of foreign languages, which is what I have just told you in Chinese language. And if you are worried about translated version, including pronunciation, please ask some Chinese friends who came from mainland China. If you have any Chinese friends who have come from mainland China. Anyway, so this time I'd like to talk about of course studying pronunciations of foreign language, but what I'd like to recommend you is to copy the pronunciations by hearing the pronunciations of foreign languages. And I don't know whether you study foreign languages or not, because maybe most listeners of my podcast are native speakers of English languages, and to tell the truth, most listeners are American people, or most listeners live in the United States of America who understand maybe English language as their mother tongues. Anyway, this time I'd like to recommend you to copy the pronunciations of foreign languages, and I have studied at first, my mother tongue is Japanese, which is what I have told you episodes before. And anyway, and my mother tongue is Japanese, and I have studied some languages, including Chinese, Russian, Korean language, and they're all. And I'm studying English, and among those foreign languages, the language I can speak out the best is English. So maybe most of you do not find me speaking English really well, but actually among the foreign languages I have studied, this is the best. I mean, speaking English like it is the best performance for me. And anyway, when it comes to studying, going back to the original story about which is about learning pronunciations of foreign languages, and going back to the original story, when it comes to studying foreign languages, copying the pronunciations of foreign languages is one of the most important stuff. And in the case of Chinese language, it is said that, I don't know who said that, but it is said that acquisition of pronunciations account for the whole learning of Chinese languages. No, accounts for the 50% of the whole learning of Chinese language. Yeah, I will tell you again. I have just made a mistake. So acquiring the pronunciations of Chinese language accounts for the 50%, or half of the entire studying Chinese language, which is what I have heard years before. Yeah. And anyway, pronunciation is like I have just said. Pronunciation is really important in the case of learning foreign languages, and this is the case of Chinese language, and maybe most Western people would have trouble in acquiring Chinese language because the pronunciations of Chinese language is really different from Western languages like French, English, and maybe German. For the native speakers of those languages, acquiring Chinese language is really difficult. So, for example, how should I say? So, America is 美国, and so another case is that and Great Britain is 英国, and in this case, intonation is what matters in the case of Chinese language. Anyway, but as I pronounced, it's fine to acquire those foreign languages. What I'm saying is that you have to hear or you have to listen to the foreign pronunciations and you have to speak out what you have just heard. I mean, I said 美国 and you have to say, this is pronounced 美国. So in this case you have to pronounce 美国, which is what you have just heard from, for example, from your teacher or from the studying material. And maybe websites are fine to use if you can use such if you can find such websites for learning Chinese languages. And another case is that and in the case of Russian language, I have studied Russian language, and how to say United States of America is Соединенные Штаты Америки, and Soviet Union is pronounced Советский Союз, which is a Russian name of Soviet Union. I will tell you again. United States of America is Соединенные Штаты Америки, and Soviet Union is Советский Союз, and these are the Russian words explaining those two countries respectively. And like which it's fine to copy the pronunciations. Of course, if your mother tongue is English, you'd find, for example, Russian language and Russian pronunciations really difficult and really foreign to your own mother tongue. But in the case of, for example, if you study French language or if you study German language, those two languages, at least those two languages have similar words having similar pronunciations and with similar meaning. Maybe because they are Western languages. And in the case of Nordic languages, maybe there must be some words or many words having closer pronunciations and closer meaning to English language. Anyway, like which, but in the case of acquiring foreign pronunciations of foreign languages, you have to copy the pronunciations with your ears, and you have to pronounce those words as you hear, which is the point of learning foreign languages. And after which, it's fine to connect those foreign words with some meaning of those words, like which you can acquire foreign languages. This is all. This is what I'd like you to understand this time. The gist of learning foreign languages is to copy the foreign pronunciations of foreign languages and pronounce what you hear as you hear. This is the point of this is one of the most important things when it comes to studying foreign languages. That's it. Thank you very much for listening. And if you study foreign languages, or if you are thinking of starting foreign languages, if you are thinking of starting to learn or study foreign languages, please keep it up. And I hope you can acquire those foreign languages you'd like to study or you are studying. Thank you very much for listening. See you.